So here we'll start by creating a new project. So this project will be guiding you through the filtering. So as we know that we have to choose console app, so it will be this one, .NET framework. So you can search it here if you don't have it. So it will be console app, and as it shows here, you'll get to select this one. So here it highlights and you choose this one here, which is console app, open bracket, .NET framework, close bracket, and then you will select it. Don't choose this one, but choose this one here, and then you select it. You can double click. So my project will be filter underscore using the split. And for the net frame, it's up to you. Leave it as it is. Don't change it. If you feel like you wanna change it, but I suggest you leave it as it is. And then for place solution and project, leave it as it is. That is fine. And click create. Sorry, there is a lot running here. There is a lot running. So now if we check here, I will increase this. Yeah. So on this side we have our solution, which is for our project. So here it says what solution, and then filter underscore split, and then one project. That means we have one project inside. And thereafter we have what our default class, which is this one, program class. So for this access modifier, I'll change it to public or private. Let's say private, and then you get this error. And then if you change it to public, then the error won't be there. So this is more of what we explained in class, making sure everything based on what this class have to be public. So once you have confirmed that, we'll get to create our class here. So now we already know what the class name here. So our class name will be filter all. So here we also know it will have a constructor. So say okay, it will be filter all underscore, and then now we have what? We have our full instance. So make sure whatever you get to code must be inside what? The main one. It should never be outside, because if you come and code outside this brace here, it will give you an error. So to avoid that, make sure that everything that you do now must be inside this main method. So thereafter, as I said, to make sure that everything is fine, you will click on this bubble and then generate class filter underscore all, and you create your class. And when you click on it, now the class, as you can see here, this is the class, and I no longer have the error. So you select the first option there, hold control and point on what? The class name, and it will take you where it will take you to this one. So since this class is working with the program class, and we already done what? The instance here, so we'll make sure that this class for access modifier will have to be what? Will have to be public. So thereafter, it will be able to continue to work with what? With the program class. And if you go back here, you will see that we have our constructor. So this is our constructor. So I will just comment here. So in order for us to be able to filter whatever the user gets to enter, so we'll use two ArrayLists. So the first one will be holding all the answers of the replies, and then the second one will be for ignoring. So I'm not going to give you like everything, but it's an idea of how you can do it. So I will declare everything as global, and then here I'll comment variable declaration. So nothing new here, so it's something that we have already done. And then I'll give it a name. I'll say, okay, these are replies, so it's equals to, obviously. And then the second array will have to be the ignore one. So and thereafter, so now I have them like this, so they are global, right? And I have my constructor here. So here I will just comment just to make sure that all the curly braces are sorted. It will be end of constructor, and this closing one also I'll say okay, end of class, and then this one is end of namespace. So make no mistake of coding outside this closing brace here, and also for the end of class, make sure you don't code outside it. So whatever is going to happen now, when we create a new method here, we'll put it under the closing brace of the constructor. So the reason why I put these comments, it will be easy for you or to assist you based on not passing a closing brace of something that you already know. Okay, this one is for this, this one is for this. So if now it happens, we have if statements, it will come with two braces. Method will come with two braces. So those two braces must be always there, and the block of the code goes where? Inside. So now let's have our first method. So our first method will be as follow. So will be a method for storing replies, and this method will be private. So as I was mentioning the braces part, so you will see I have the open and also the close here, and then I go inside the press enter just to skip a line or to break a line, and thereafter I command the end of end of store replies. So now I already know whatever we have to create based on the method, that next method will have to be under this one here, which is end of store replies. So now inside this one we get to store the values of replies. So we already know that the topic is based on what? On security stuff. So what will happen is the following. We're gonna use what? The array list of replies, and we add what? We add the replies here. So here is the thing, if I assign it to double quotation, what will happen? It will be storing what? Strings. But if I if I get to store what? The first value as a number, what will happen? It will only be taking what? Integers. So it won't allow me to store what? To store strings or values. So here is the thing. On this one we'll be capturing these values in what? In the data type string. And the first one we can use as an example, say password need to be protected and kept safe. That's the first one. So we'll use 3 of them for example, and then say okay, applies again, and then dot add. We're adding the second one. So this is the second one, and then I'll say okay, SQL injection. Use it's very low based on rate. So remember, this is just things that I'm going to test. I see. So you can have yours, you can add more up to like 100 if you want to, like. So this is based on whatever your research will be. So we add the third one. The replies, and from this one we will say okay, I don't know what I will be putting here, but you can say okay, this is the third one. So remember, this method is responsible for capturing values for replies. When the user gets to ask your AI about like, okay, tell me about password, then it will filter. After filtering, then we'll get the response from here. So there is nothing that have to be advanced, but at the end of the day it must do something. It should be able to work and to interact with the user. And then now, as I said, the next method will be under this one, which is the closing brace for a store underscore replies. And we will do a method comment method for storing So here is the thing: if the user types something like tell me about, then tell will be ignored, me will be ignored, about will be ignored. What will be left? If I say tell me about password will be left there. So it will use password to get this one. So we'll be using .contain actually. So as long any answer here contains a password, must explain to the user. It must do what? Retrieve the information, and then it shows the user. And thereafter we can also make this one to be private, and then void, and it stores what? Ignore. And then to this one, as I said, methods will have what? Two braces, which is the opening and also the closing one. Then you comment, okay, end of what? End of this one, which is store underscore ignore. Now we store what? Store values of ignore. So now we call our array to add the values, and then we add. Okay, so I'm going to use 3 values for, like, as an example. I will ignore tell, I will ignore, I will ignore me. So now go to this one. I will ignore, I will ignore about. So now I use 3 replies, and also for ignore the values of 3. After doing this, you have to make sure you have no error, you have no problem actually. So now we'll go back to the constructor, scroll up, and then this is the constructor. Remember, I put a comment here. So the comment was this one, and also this one by the end of what? The closing brace. So there, I'll go inside this one, which is the constructor. Now I'm inside the constructor actually. This is where I am. So I will click within the braces, and then I start. Call both methods to do what? To auto store the values. So this method must do what? To store the values, and then we'll have our ignore, and the second one we'll have our replies method called. So when the program runs, I will get to this one to store the ignore, and thereafter we'll go to this one also to store the replies. And thereafter, now it's time to prompt the user for what? For the question. The user so since we're prompting the user for the question, we are going to use console.writeLine, and then okay, enter question, and then we'll have what? We'll have a temporal variable that will be responsible for carrying whatever the user gets to enter. So it will be string question, and then equals to console.read line. See now, whatever the user gets to enter, it will be stored where? Here. So these will be what our temporal storage, and this is what we are going to use in one split function. And thereafter, now, so this split function will be assigned to one dimension array actually. So this one dimension array is the array that will be responsible for what for capturing each and every word. So now say okay, making use of split function to store each word. So as I said, will be in one dimension array. So our array will be as follows: store with, and then squares choose, and then there will be equation dot split. So we'll be using what a space to split them, and then put single quotation and then put a space. Just click it once, not twice, not like 3 times, only once, not one time. And thereafter, now we are done with it. Let's have what a temporal array list. So this temporal array list, by the time we filter, I will be only capturing the one that we didn't ignore. You see, so right there, if the user interlock tell me about password, that means we already know. Tell it is in what ignore, me it is already in what ignore, about it there is already where in ignore array list. So if something is not there, then it will proceed, but at the end of the day it will still search, and if it doesn't get whatever it proceeded with, then it will give show the user that they have to say something related to the topic. So now this ArrayList start final with continue ArrayList. Then so now we are fine and we are good to go. So we are going to use a for loop to check the words and to store. But before we proceed, so we must make sure that indeed it is doing what everything. So make use of for loop. And remember, I said if statements for loop, they come with what? They come with braces, so they have to be too obvious. So these are what the 2 braces. So on this one, I'll just comment end of what? For loop for what? Or checking where is, and here in the for loop we have what our temporal variable, which will be count equals to 0, and then count will be less than what? Store with, and then dot length, and we close it and we increment it, and then increment. So now before we proceed, let's make sure that everything that is there is what that is displaying. So what will I do? I'll just type okay console.writeLine, and what will happen? We use store underscore with, and then square bracket, and put what? The variable count. So it means if there is a word at index 0, then it will display the word at index 0, since we have already assigned what the count at what index 0. If there is a word at index 1, then the incrementation here that will be happening will be increasing what the count. So now we get to close it like this. So now I will run it just to test if indeed I will be doing what, breaking these words. So now, okay, enter your question, right? So I'll say, okay, tell me more about password and SQL right? So you see now, this is at index 0, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. You see, they are already captured actually. So where are they? So my question was, tell me more about password and SQL, right? So here question have what stored this question here, the question variable that I've captured what, this question here on the command, and then come to the split function, and uses the space here to break them and get to store them in the one dimension array. And thereafter, when it comes to this follow now, this follow will be helping us to retrieve what the values that they've been captured or stored. So you guys will have to do error handling based on that. If the user doesn't answer a question, we'll have to do it. We'll have to alert the user that they must enter something in order for them to get what, the replies. So now, since we have confirmed that okay, indeed it is working, it is running actually, so we have to continue. We will remove the console part. We will remove this part now. So we remove this part, and now we are going to do our if statement to check if words stored in line the array are not ignored, right? So we already have what, our array list, which is ignore, that have what, words that have to be ignored. So I will just say if. So remember I said each statement they come with what, 2 braces. For loops they come with 2 braces, classes 2 braces, everything that you get to declare beside variables. You already know these things. Methods have to come with braces, which is open and close braces. If statements, open and close braces. For loop, open and close braces. Make sure that they are there before you proceed with anything. Make sure they are there. So I'll make sure that they are here. So these are the braces I have, and then I'll comment here and also if statement. So I'll go inside. Okay, now I will start by what, a not sign, right? So it means by a not sign here, as you can see, there is what, a not sign here. I will start by not sign. So if a variable if a value is not what, inside the array list ignore, then it will be captured by what, the temporal array list, which is this one here. So now let's proceed, and we'll say okay, ignore. If our ignore dot contains, right? So make no mistake, as you can see here, I have what, I have the opening bracket and I also have the closing bracket. So here I have 2 brackets where I will have to put what, this array, which is stored, and then square brackets and count, right? So this is how it is. Make no mistake there. So it will be if ignore doesn't contain the word at index 0, at index 1, at index, you see, they will have to be stored where, then store, then not ignored word, no words. So now this is where we get to add them. So we store the final, right? And this is how it will be. We'll store the final, and the final you will get to capture this store underscore with open square bracket, and then count and close square bracket, then close the line. So by doing this, you are done with the first filtering. By doing this, you are done with the first filtering. So now we go forward for the second one. So you see on this comment here, which is the end of what, end of for loop for checking words, which is what, the closing brace. You go there and then you go. And you comment temp variables. So by having this temp variables, it will help you to get to verify if something is found or not. So we use what, the boolean. So our boolean variable name will be found, then by default let's assign it to false, and we'll have what, the string variable for message. So these will be appending whatever the user gets to enter. So be string empty, and then we have two variables here that we're going to make use of. And now we get to this one. So we'll be having outer loop and also inner loop, so nested for loop. So now we start, okay, for to get what, to get final answers. So now if we are going to do this, we'll do it this way. So I said follow must have two braces, and then I'll make sure the braces are there, and then go inside, press enter, and comment end of the for loop for final answers. Then go back to the brackets, and okay, temporal variable int counting equals to 0, and then counting will be less than which one. You see now which one. So now we are going to use the temporal array list, which will be store underscore final with then dot count, and then closing, then increment counting, and this is how it is. Thereafter you go inside, then search the answer by a word from the temporary list, right? So here we'll have what, our follow, which is the second one. Make sure that the braces are there. So you see, okay, end of the nesting loop, right? And you know, okay, 1 and 2, they're together. This one is closing for the outer, and this one is closing for the inner loop. And then we do this, have a temporal variable which will be count equals to 0, and then count will have to be less than. Now this is where we're going to use the ArrayList replies, and then we'll be replies dot count, and then we close and we increment. Then thank you. And then we do a condition, a statement to check the weight if found in replies. Thank you. So that would be if. So make sure this if also have what open and also those braces. Then there you comment end of the if statement for getting the answer. So now we are going to do the following. So here is the thing. So now the first one that we have to be here is the store underscore final words, right? And store underscore final words and square brackets. Which variable is it using? It is using counting. I repeat, it is using what? Counting. So this is how it is. So it's using counting the to string. And now we will use what our contains. So after using our contain, we put what open bracket and also the close bracket there. Careful with this one. So which one is the second variable that we have to call? We have the second array is what replies. So we have to call the second arrays, which is using the variable count. Then will be go to string. Sorry, then we proceed to use the message variable that we have declared up there as what the temporal storage. So now we will do what? Append the answer. So if the user machine like so many things, so try its best to get those answers for the user. Append the answers. So we will say okay, message plus equals to, and then now which one will be helping us to do it, to get these replies? It's the replies ArrayList, which will be this one. So it's using the variable count, and then we coordinate and put this. So the next one will be under the other one. So now we are done with this line, right? So we are proceeding to do what? To assign found to true. And then you're done with the step. Now you're finally done with the step. So the only thing now is just to display if indeed this one is what, this one is true. Yeah. And then under this brace here, which is what, end of the nesting loop, and then you'll see you have what end of the for loop for final answers. So this is where you get to do your final if statement here. So make sure this brace here for end of constructor is still there, it's not touched. So get to this one here and you comment display error message or answers. So now you do this. So now you do this. So now you do the following. So if, and then make sure that you have what braces, which are the open and also the close. And you put your else and make sure that you have what open and also the close brace, and then you comment on this one and off display statement and inside the else is console. So you say okay, this says something related security. Now this is the error message, and go back to what to the brackets and you type found. As long as it is true, it means it found something and it wants to do what to display there. And now you comment and the display and the console. And we are going to use a variable message to display. So now we are going to test it. So once you're done here, you can test your application. So we are going to test it actually. So I'm trying to increase this. I am trying to increase this as long that this touchpad allows me. So say okay. Tell me about SQL. As you can see here, I said okay, tell me about what SQL. And if you go and check the replies here, when I say tell me about SQL, and then we have SQL injection and also it's very low, and then let's go back and test. So we have password, SQL overtaking. Okay, so let's search using them. Let me increase this. And I'll say okay, tell me more about SQL and password. So let's see what it brings. So you see it brings SQL injection is very low pays on, and then brings password. So it is able to filter, and if I run it again and I type something like, oh, I need more about one type of tagging. So you see, it gets to bring all the related about tagging, like SQL, and also like safety of password, and tagging phones is based on fishy. So if I cancel and I search like okay, tell me about SQL. So it only bring that one thing. So this is how it will be working actually. So once you get to make this code run on your side, then you'll be good to go to pass through the challenge of filtering that you're having on your side. So I'll put the code on the PDF. It will be sent to the group with these comments so that you can follow and get to understand it better.